So my Isekai Life episode 2. A little bit earlier I did an episode review for the episode number 1, and I didn't actually know that the second episode came out immediately after the first one, so I kind of did that review without knowing that aspect of the anime. So if you did watch that first review, know that that review is made with the knowledge that I thought that only the first episode came out, and now that I watched this second episode, I mean, it didn't really add that much information about the world itself, about the background of the character, but I mean, it did kind of give us a little bit more of a base understanding on how the world works, like I said, on the basic level, how powerful Yuuji is and things like that. So yeah, I think this episode 2 can be summarized in that way. It can be summarized in learning a little bit more, us the watcher learning a little bit more about Yuuji, what his powers is, what are his potential enemies, how strong they are, and yeah, basically things of that nature. Maybe in future episode, like I said already, we're going to learn a little bit more of the psychology of him in a little bit more depth. We did see in the middle of the episode, it was a strange scene cut, because we were suddenly with the main protagonist Yuuji, with Lisa, with Hina, I think that was her name, something like that, with Rollies in the camp, and they were about to sleep, and suddenly the scene cuts into Yuuji waking up from his sleep, if you can call it like that, and waking up in this isekai world. It was kind of weird, and we see that he was an office worker, a salaryman, and he suddenly got transported, or I don't know how you can call it, to this isekai world. And basically all his what we know so far, basically his inner psychology now functions in the way of an office worker. His opinions, his way of thinking, his worldview is that of what he experienced working as a like I said already, as a salaryman. We can see his inner dialogue throughout the episode, how he thinks, how even there's a line where he says he doesn't want to be relied upon because of the experiences, like I said already, he had as a salaryman. The experiences he basically sees, or he makes it out to be, is because of how he was in the real world when he was a salaryman. That is what shapes his worldview. And getting more into the episode, basically the episode starts in a way that Yuuji has to get into, or wants to get into, a party in order to take a job, and well, he does. We get introduced to the two female characters, Hina and Lisa. Then we get introduced to Roddy, which of course we saw at the beginning of the episode. He was introduced as a villain. Well, he really wasn't introduced. It was more sort of he was shown as a villain because he didn't really speak. His back was only shown, and if you didn't caught that at the beginning of the episode, you maybe thought throughout the episode that he was kind of suspicious. He was maybe sort of too good to be true, and well, that is because he wasn't actually good. He was actually a villain. If you didn't got that scene where he was in at the beginning of the episode. So yeah, we get basically them going out to camping and doing their mission, and of course it turns out that he's a villain, and well, he basically reports to his boss that they're going to capture the girls and maybe let out to die Yuuji, but of course Yuuji intervenes and basically beats them up by freezing them. That is how the episode went into the middle part of it. Then at the last part, we get into a little bit more inner dialogue of Yuuji, basically contemplating his enemies, what the blue moon, I think it was, or something like that, is, how powerful they are, and things like that. So we're going to see that in episode 3 and in future episodes. So they are already doing world building. So in a way, this episode 2 is again a continuation of the first episode. We didn't get that much really depth into the character, into the world, but there are a few little things here and there, and maybe in future episode we're going to get more depth. So yeah, kind of a normal episode. It wasn't bad, it wasn't really good either. I mean, it was a normal episode, and yeah, I think that will be everything for me. And yeah.